proving with science that Rocky is the greatest movie of all time. When the main character, the writer and the actor all begin as the underdog, but go on to respectively become, eventually, the heavyweight champion of the world at the Oscars and grow into one of the most recognisable and bankable movie stars of the last 50 years. When the first film launches a franchise which goes on to gross over $1.7 million, and when the first beats of Eye of the Tiger can't help but compel every single male to want to lace up a pair of trainers and start running. There is no debating the fact that this film is richer, more vibrant and more significant than anything in the current crop of superhero movies. Movies where the characters are stagnantly either good or evil. Movies where character development and every shade of grey has been removed for the sake of simplistic storytelling. So what does the enduring appeal of the Rocky story point towards about our inbuilt love of and belief in these tales of overcoming life's obstacles? If you've somehow been living in the unentertained wasteland of never having seen this masterpiece, then here's the highlights. Find your Adrian, find your Mickey, dream big and work hard, then even in defeat, you'll find yourself to be a winner. Perhaps you also remember the very first time you watched Rocky. I was probably 9 years old at the time. The first time Stallone starts running, the music swells, he's pumping his arms and legs up the stairs, then standing on top with his arms held high. I felt this surge of energy inside my chest, and I immediately flung myself down off the sofa and started doing push-ups and sit-ups before running up and down the stairs in my house, and was very quickly told off for making so much noise. But somehow the shape of the story being told clicked into the shape of my brain's receptors, bypassing all the logical and rational bits of my mind and getting me instinctively copying what it was I was witnessing. Because deep down, we, all of us, identify with people who embody the ability to develop self-belief and then use that belief as fuel for overcoming life's challenges. Don't we all want to spend our time and attention on people with these characteristics, in the understanding that some of their magic might rub off onto us? A masterstroke of writing in Rocky 1 is showing him losing the climactic fight after getting his head pinged around like Tyson Fury here, but still highlighting the satisfaction he feels because he's lived up to his own standards by following his own pathway, regardless of what the actual outcome was in terms of what other people's expectations of success would probably look like. Compare this to modern Hollywood, where the hero doesn't lose, the hero can't lose. But this loss is actually a major part of why the Rocky series grips us so tightly, because if you're anything like me, then you've surely realised by now that you can't always win, no matter how good a job you do. And perhaps you're also right now remembering a time when you felt satisfied with a job well done, regardless of the outcome. Plus, you're probably also old enough to have picked up some level of doubt and cynicism about super simplistic stories, and you maybe need something a bit more relatable in order to be moved. Or maybe not. The amount of adverts which basically tell us buy this product equals happiness, and the money these adverts make might be undermining my argument quite a lot here. I think the structure of the film gives us a fascinatingly realistic picture of what being good at something takes as well, because if you sit down this Saturday night to watch this great movie, propped up on your sofa with your popcorn and your other snacks, you'll be there for 119 minutes. And with this being a boxing movie and that the staircase running scene being so iconic and memorable, perhaps you'll take a stab at answering this little question: how much time does Rocky spend doing these training montage scenes? 10%? 20%? Try 2.5%. So what does he spend his time doing? Much of the film shows Rocco strengthening his relationships both with the other characters and also with himself. The changes in how he goes from seeing himself as a bum and a loser to seeing himself as a worthwhile guy make up far more of the movie's runtime. And tell me that isn't exactly a realistic slice of life, because once you have a certain level of skill in something, setting your life in order and getting out of your own way is a key part in getting shit done. And this theme of the importance of a well-ordered life continues throughout the rest of the franchise. Whenever Rocky loses, that loss is always born of a disruption in his life somewhere. Such as when he gets all big time in Rocky 3 and then gets battered by Clubber Lang.
No, I don't hate Balboa, but I pity the fool.
Only to go back to his roots and rediscover himself in order to come back and win again. What is it about this theme which latches on to the wrinkles in our brains? Think about the story of the tortoise and the hare. When we hear someone tell us, don't rush, we brush it off as a boring piece of good advice. But when you think of the story, when you remember the story, it's like your brain sees itself as the characters, and the puzzle piece of the information to not rush clicks into place. In the Rocky movies, boxing is simply the dramatic device used to transport puzzle pieces of information into our minds. Information which serves to nourish us and enrich our lives by showing us what's possible. But some guys, not you obviously, but some of the other guys watching this, will right now be feeling the uncomfortable warmth of self-reflection, because you're realising that the screenwriters understood that lifestyle stability is more important than whatever the nuts and bolts of Rocky's training programme were. But how wide does this idea spread? Perhaps you've got a sense for how you want your life to look at work, at home, whatever. But no matter how many times you hear someone tell you, believe in yourself and chase your dreams, those words kind of roll straight off. Yet watching Rocky, or even just thinking about it, like you are right now whilst listening to me, has you feeling all warm and fired up inside, ready to run through walls for the future you believe in. Perhaps because deep down we understand from these movies the importance and the truth in self-belief being essential in our ability to overcome obstacles. That's why we like Rocky and Stallone both. It's easy to look at the megastar Stallone is today, but let's not forget that at one point he was a deadbeat actor going nowhere fast, and even resorted to frisky movies to pay his rent instead of the potential alternative of mugging someone. No wonder this movie hasn't lost a drop of its appeal in the 50 years since its release, and no wonder it's become an all-time classic. But if this little trip down nostalgia lane has triggered some pangs of forgotten self-belief and motivation inside you, perhaps you've been ignoring your big dreams. Is that what Rocky did? Is that what deadbeat soft porn star Stallone did? Even if you don't end up exactly where you imagine you'll be, you can still find yourself a winner, even in defeat. And now you've enjoyed my little video, why not subscribe and let me know your thoughts in the comments. Plus, as a little thank you because you've stuck around until the end, I've got a little freebie for you, which you can claim by tapping the link below. Anyway, I've been Ian Dowie, not the old Palace manager. Cheers for watching.